The West Dallas Bridge is located over I-45 northbound, southbound in the Central Business District of Houston. It's a key element to the mobility in the downtown region. And it has an AM, a PM, and a noon rush hour peak load each day. It's also extremely important to the Central Business District and the downtown district with activities on almost every weekend of the year. The bridge had a long history of being hit by oversized loads, and it had been repaired multiple times. On September the 2nd, the bridge was struck by an oversized load, September the 2nd of 2016. It was struck by an oversized load, and it had to be closed. Very quickly, TxDOT Houston District reached out to the Bridge Division and our bridge section, and we looked at a variety of options of how to fix the bridge or what to do with the bridge. It was complicated because Houston was hosting Super Bowl 51 right after the first of the year, and actually the Super Bowl events aren't just one weekend or one night. It actually is about a 2.5 week period of time. And the bridge was a key element to the Super Bowl mobility plan for the city of Houston and the Super Bowl committee. So quickly it was determined that the bridge couldn't be fixed. It wasn't reasonable to fix it anymore. So that the object of the game began to rotate towards rebuilding the bridge and improving mobility in the region by and reducing the chance for future hits by reducing the cross section of the bridge and increasing the clearance. So how do we do this, and what did we learn from it, or what I like to call what we confirmed in doing the bridge? Number one, safety was paramount. Everything we did, we focused on safety. We never forgot that the idea was to get it done quickly, but get it done safely. The other thing that was important, perhaps as safety, was communication. We had internal communication, we had external communication, we had internal and external communication where we communicated with the stakeholders, including the City of Houston administration and the Central Business District and the Super Bowl committee, so they knew what we were doing. And how did we handle the communication? We had long-standing relationships built on trust with the stakeholders and our industry partners. We had two goals: safely reconstruct the bridge in the least amount of time possible with zero incidents, and minimize impacts to the traveling public, while completing the project within the allowable time constraints and budget. The results were, we rebuilt the bridge over 3 weekends and 1 weeknight, and opened the bridge 1 week before Christmas, and it was 5 weeks ahead of the start of Super Bowl 51 activities and lane closure restrictions. We had 0 incidents, and we had 0 accidents on the job and injuries. We stayed within the agreed budget and cost, and public and stakeholder feedback has been very positive. How did we do it? Communication was key. We talked every step of the way. We broke down the lines of communication. We had instead of giving us a complete set of plans for the contractor, our contractor was directly talking to our Houston District Bridge engineer and his staff. The fabricator was talking directly to the staff of the bridge section. I was talking directly to materials and tests, both in the shop and in the field. We broke down the levels of communication to make sure that everyone was talking as quickly as we could. We made sure the right person was in the right place at the right times at all times. We ensured that quick decision making was based on sound engineering judgment by those most qualified to review the issue. Again, multiple TxDOT sections worked together with our industry partners to develop the plans and the TCP. We just didn't give the contractor a TCP. We sat down with the contractor and his TCP sub multiple times, and we tweaked our TCP to get what we wanted. It was complicated. To close I-45 northbound and southbound at the same time, it takes actually 22 separate closures of that corridor to get it completely closed. It was mind-boggling to do it in a short period of time. And then the area office wanted to do something different. We wanted to make sure that we rotated young and inexperienced inspectors through the project to see them, let them see what an accelerated project was like. So we paired them with our experienced inspectors. We've already talked about constant communication, the safety. We also didn't forget SW3P. We used a very proactive approach to SW3P. Quite honestly, if we kept a neat work site, for instance, the night of the bridge deck placement, we could get the freeway open quicker. And again, we made sure the right people were there while we paired inexperienced inspectors with us. The timeline was September the 2nd, the bridge was hit. I'm going to speed forward a little bit. By September the 17th, we had figured out we could reopen the bridge to 2 lanes with a greatly reduced load limit. By November the 4th, our steel girders had been fabricated to the point where we're confident that we could go on and reclose the bridge completely and start demolition. The first weekend, we demolished the bridge and we rebuilt the bent cap bearing pedestals in the median at Bent 2, the median I-45. The following week, we modified the bearing pedestals on the abutment caps. And then the weekend of 11/18 through 11/21, we hung the structural steel girders and the diaphragms. What was unique is we hung them with PMDF already installed. The PMDF was installed on the pairs of the girders at the fabricator. The week of 11/21 through 11/23, we went on and got ready for the rod busters to come in and start placing the rebar the week after Thanksgiving. We actually took the weekend of Thanksgiving off because we had lane closure restrictions and we had already hung the girders and we weren't quite ready to pour the bridge deck. The weekend of 12/2 through 12/5, once again, we had demoed the bridge just a month before. We were ready to pour the bridge deck. Rains moved in, and it rained all weekend. We did all kinds of things to try to get the rain to stop, and none of them worked. So we had a contingency plan, though, and the contingency plan was to go on a weeknight if we had to. Going on a weeknight had some risk. Again, it took a long time to close I-45 northbound and southbound, and it took a long time to reopen it and pour a bridge deck on all in one night. But again, with planning and working with our industry partners and our stakeholders who bought off on us closing the freeway on a weeknight, we got the bridge deck poured that night and had the road open by 4:15 that morning. We spent the next week or so doing things like putting pedestrian rail on. The original bridge has had a concrete curb. We actually put a low-profile concrete rail that came from a new standard on the deck. And on December the 16th, before the evening rush hour, we reopened the bridge. So we closed it on November the 4th completely, and we reopened it on December the 16th. Again, that's key because it was a week before Christmas with holiday events in downtown almost every night, and it was 5 weeks before the Super Bowl lane closure restrictions went into place. This is a team effort, and every member of the team participated, from the area office to the different sections in the Houston district, to the bridge division, to our industry partners, to our officer coordinator. We made sure the right people were talking, and that's the takeaway I have for you, is we put the right people talking to the right people, and we were making decisions based upon that and getting the most qualified person to give you a quick answer. I'm going to close my talk, and I have a time-lapse view of the project that I'm going to run, and then Graham Bettis is going to follow up and start talking about accelerated bridge construction on a statewide basis. And I cannot find it.